everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Game Time here on the Game Time channel. I am the Outlaw, John Rocha, and joined as always by the big cowboy in the room. I may be the Outlaw, but he's the big cowboy in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Winston A. Marshall. Winston, how are you feeling on this lovely Tuesday morning, at least on the West Coast?
I just don't even want to do SVU because I feel like I have to go at the actual elephant in the room. Like I just God damn it, son of a bitch. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're here. Oh, God damn it.
So both of us coming off losses, at different levels, but certainly you're not the only one of us to eat a little crow today. Shout out to the fine people from the Bills Mafia, to my brother Del Reed. He at 26 shirts. They sent me this shirt and I have to wear it because the Commanders got beat by the Buffalo Bills. And so
I brakes beat off you, bro.
Yes, absolutely. But we don't have an all-pro quarterback throwing an interception in the red zone. But see, this is the situation we have. So I have to wear the Bills Mafia shirt. But listen, this is great quality. These are fantastic shirts. So highly recommend y'all going to at 26 shirts, go in their Twitter account, or go to their website and pick up some great shirts there if you represent Buffalo Bills. And even if you don't, they're just great designs to kind of sport around town. So shout out to my brother Del Reed. But damn it, I have to wear this because that was our bet. So we're going to get into a lot of things here in the world of sports from the weekend, not just NFL. We'll talk some NCAA football, college football as well with Deion Sanders and some other big games that happened this weekend. A troubling story about Chandler Jones as well. And we're obviously going to hear from you all. If you send in your Streamlabs, the address is pinned in the chats in the description of the video, and it's right above our heads there in the center. So feel free to send in your support and your love for the show as we go along. And please be respectful of Winston's feelings on the whole situation, and we'll get to that.
No, they go ahead, let it out, because Lord knows if any of your teams do what just happened, I will have no mercy. So if you have something to say, just let it out. I already know that Matt's ass is gonna be here. He needs a Dobbs jersey. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out. There you go.
Let's delay the Cowboys talk. Let's start with the Dolphins, because how can we not? The Dolphins were incredible this weekend, brother. They crushed the Broncos 70-20. They scored the most points in a game by an NFL team since 1966, which was my old school Washington Redskins scoring that on the New York Giants, 72 points. But they scored 70. They did this behind their rookie rusher there, Arcane, who had 203 yards. Tua threw for 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had 157 yards receiving, including a 54-yard touchdown pass. They scored touchdowns on 8 of 9 drives before Mike White finally replaced Tua in the fourth quarter. And they kneeled on the ball when they were real close to possibly kicking a field goal and breaking the record. And Mike said after the game that he did not want that to be the message from this game. So overall, that's what they did. But once again, this is Sean Payton losing another game. This is the first time Russell Wilson is starting 0-3, Winston. I mean, this season could not have started any worse from the offseason on for Sean Payton. But the story here is more that the Dolphins look like a juggernaut of a team in the AFC. What are your thoughts on this game about both of these teams coming at them?
Look, I understand McDaniel feeling like he needed to set a tone.
Yeah.
And make it very clear. I'm sure he feels like the type that was a Warriors fan and he watched them break the single season record of wins. And he's like, we ain't going to get no 73 points. It's bad karma. Like, you're never going to get to this point again. You should have got the fucking field goal and broke the record. You will never, ever, I promise you. Look, if the Dolphins get to the position to break that record again this season, I'm not going to put it because what if you have a worse team than this Denver Broncos team that has an opportunity to do that? But I'm telling you, these are those moments where in life, you shoot your shot or you're not. Rocha, if Jennifer Lopez came to you tomorrow, and said, "Outlaw, me and you, let's do this."
I can't. I'm not a Jennifer Lopez guy. But
okay, so then pick one. If not J-Lo, Shakira, who do you want?
Shakira? Well, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Y'all have a list, bro. We have a list. Lady Outlaw is fine. I'm sure she's got Michael B. Jordan in the can too. That she would also.
She has Idris Elba number one. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Fine. And you couldn't hate her for it if she was like,
no,
baby.
I really couldn't.
Idris just won an Oscar. And he said, I wants to be with you, Lady Outlaw. You got to be like, baby, you got to, I can't fault you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel, you will never be in this position to do this again. And you were like, nah, we ain't chasing. Bro, it's already hard enough to win a Super Bowl. And granted, right now, y'all look like the favorites. The way you are slapping people in the mouth, this is unprecedented. But if I was you, I would take my trophy now and then try and get the other trophy. Take all the trophies. Like, what are you doing? But
I mean, it's a bit of an anomaly, isn't it? Because they only beat the Chargers by 2 points in the first game. They only beat the Patriots, who are terrible, by 7 points last week. And so this is a bit of an anomaly, maybe comparable to your Cowboys whipping the Giants 40-0 in the first game. We can take out of it that this is an offensive juggernaut of a team, but you can't argue the defense is still an issue for this team, because giving up 17 in New England, 34 to Chargers, and 20 to the Broncos, even though you're killing them, you have to ask questions that could be an Achilles heel. And it's not like your quarterback doesn't get concussions. So it's a concern, I think. As great as they are offensively, the defense might be a little suspect at times.
You know what this looks like? Take it from somebody who was just here with this kind of offense. This looks like the damn Cowboys a couple years ago. I was at the game 2 years ago when we played the Falcons, and we beat them like 56-3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a situation where we would not stop scoring. So when I tell you that ain't enough, you need to be able to put the kibosh, because, like, again, the Dolphins are serious. They are the best team in the NFL. I'm not taking that from them. But the Chargers clearly are sus, because they barely got to the point of not going 0-3 now.
Yes.
Like beating up on the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings.
The Patriots, again, as well, I believe, are 1-2 now. I can't remember if they won this weekend.
But the Patriots did. They beat the Jets.
They beat the Jets, but barely preventing themselves from going 0-3 as well.
Yeah.
And then the Broncos, what is their record? Are they now 0-3?
They're 0-3. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's one of those situations where you're talking about three teams that ain't shit.
Yeah.
The Chargers should have been. They're the only one that really should have been a serious threat, and they put them to 2 points to win that game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they are the best team in football. But you better pray to God that, like, Josh Allen doesn't decide today is not the day I'm going to look more like Dak Prescott. I'm going to look like Josh Allen, and he obliterates your defense. And now all of a sudden you got to hope you can go blow for blow, pound for pound the entire time. So, like, they should definitely take a look at what's going on the defensive side of the ball. I know you were looking for Jalen Ramsey, and he's still injured and all that kind of stuff. And if anybody can tell you how much losing one all-star corner can wreck your defense.
Good point.
I get it, but, like, this makes me nervous for them. Stop letting people score like this, because the minute you go against a Bills, an Eagles, a Chiefs, we'll see how we're doing with the offense. Isn't really our specialty right now. It's okay, but it's not our specialty. You go against any team that knows how to put up points, and now all of a sudden you got to wonder what the fuck you're doing. And I think that they will. I think they'll win out. I think that they'll pretty much not win out, but they'll win pretty much every other game they have to play the rest of the season. But then what do you do when the playoffs come? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Well, and this is going to be tough the next few weeks here. I'm looking at their schedule, because first of all, they go to Buffalo this weekend. That I'm watching that game from the first second to the last second. This is going to be the game of the weekend. Those two going at it. Then they play Philadelphia 3 weeks later at Philly. And then they play KC at home a couple of weeks after that. So they've got the next few weeks are going to really show us how good this Dolphins team is. Because to me, they're not the best team in the NFL. To me, the 49ers are the best team in the NFL. I think they do it on both sides of the ball. And to me, that's why I think the 49ers are the best team. And I would take Brock Purdy over Tua right now. I'm not even bullshitting you. I think this guy understands the system that he's running. Got just as many weapons as Tua, but not suspect to concussions, and that's what makes me nervous.
Well, okay, so dynamic.
Purdy is
solid. See, that's the thing.
That's the equation.
There's a couple things there. The first is, it's funny you mentioned that. You know how people love to play the game if you could move a quarterback around? If they could do the same stuff. I would make the argument that Tua could go to San Francisco and could ball out, but Purdy could not go to Miami and do the same. Purdy would be exactly what his draft nickname is Mr. Irrelevant.
I disagree with you.
I think he is a good quarterback, but the way in which he's playing in San Francisco feels very much like Kyle Shanahan knows what to do with this kid, and he fits perfectly into his system. I do not think that Brock Purdy, because you know what he looks like to me? He looks like whenever Bill Belichick would have Matt Castle, Jimmy G, where within Belichick's system, this person is killing it. But if you put Brock Purdy anywhere else, he would be exactly where his draft class is.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. And the reason I say this is because this is not Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and making Bruce Arians look good, right? This is Brock Purdy going to another offensive genius in Mike McDaniel down in Miami, who would absolutely adjust the offense to work for Brock Purdy. And Tyreek Hill and RK now and all these guys. And Jalen Waddle didn't even play in this game. So let's say he's healthy. He's got just as many weapons as he had in San Francisco. And I think Mike McDaniel could craft the offense to make it look for Brock Purdy. Now, if you put Brock Purdy on Chicago, then we have a different conversation.
Okay, I'll give you, fine. You want to give him Miami? I will give you Miami. He's not doing it. Like, let's think of some of these.
He's not going to do it in Washington. He would be lost in Washington.
He's not doing it. He's not doing it with any team that doesn't like. Again, it's a team sport, so you need pieces around you. Period. But like for example, the Buccaneers are a surprise hit right now. He ain't going down to Tampa Bay and doing this shit.
Right.
Brock Purdy would look awful down there. I gotta give Baker Mayfield his props right now. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he couldn't go down there and do that. Yeah. There's no way. He couldn't go over. Like Pittsburgh doesn't know if they want to be good or bad. Like they're still Pittsburgh, so there's something to be messed with. He couldn't go to Pittsburgh and do something for Tomlin right now. But like,
Tua is more talented. I just think right now in the systems that they're in, I take Brock Purdy over and the 49ers over Tua and the Dolphins.
If you're going purely off of injury, that is the only thing that I will give you. And even then, yes, that head, but bro, major reconstructive elbow surgery.
It's true.
Major reconstructive. How many throws he gotten that before all of a sudden it's a problem again? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not wishing that on the kid. I pray to God that he does not have to have another surgery on that arm and it does everything that he needs it to do. Not good enough to win a Super Bowl, but good enough to be fine. Like that's fine because I don't need the 49ers win another damn Super Bowl. But you know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna act like yes, Tua can bang that head up. And yes, I've been giving him crap about that. However, they have really hyped up him taking jiu-jitsu and he knows how to take a fall now.
Yes.
So if that's really the case and that O-line is going to keep him propped up, you know what I'm saying? Then it is what it is. I'm not concerned about that currently. It is something to keep in the back of your mind because God help him if he gets another concussion, bro. It's like Reggie Ray from Not Another Teen movie where they had the concussion countdown. My boy can't take another one, bro. No more. That's a wrap, bro. That's a wrap.
I love that movie. Great
that movie is hilarious. Shout out Sam Levine for being in Not Another Teen movie with Captain America, bro. But I just, oh my goodness, man. So that's it. And that's all. I think Miami for right now, they have not played teams worthy of making this something to write home about. And then the Bills is your first test. The Giants suck. The Panthers suck. And then you play the Eagles. So those are two teams. Skip the Patriots again because, yes, you kind of held out against them, but they don't look like they're going to be a good team this year. Yeah. So then you've got three major games in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. The Bills take 2 breaks. The Eagles take a break. The Chiefs. If they can do this kind of damage to one of those teams, to all three of them, mind you, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I hear your point. And looking at the stats, I mean, it's because stats can bear this out sometimes too. Tua has an 88.7 QBR, 88.5 completion percentage, averaging 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. Pretty good stuff there for him. Oh, sorry, that was the game that they just had against the Dolphins. But right now he's looking at Oh, 71% completion percentage, 1,000 yards already, bro. Already. 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His rating is a 121.9. When you look at Purdy, Purdy is at 67% completion percentage, only 736 yards, 4 touchdowns, no INTs on 106 rating. So, yes, Tua right now, stats-wise, a lot more. But, I mean, I think that Broncos game kind of weighs in his favor. So, we'll see as the weeks go on how this all plays out. I know a lot of people don't want to believe in this Purdy kid. We will see, but he's throwing balls. He's throwing those long balls. He's hitting those tight shots. This is not Trent Dilfer. I think he's much better as a quarterback than Trent Dilfer ever was. But I think, as like a lot of people think, we got to see more throughout a whole season from this guy. And if by the end, these 49ers are like 16-1 or whatever, you're not going to be able to deny the fact that he is a damn good quarterback.
Also, I resent the fact that somebody said,
in the chat?
Yeah, that they're saying that Tua is the MVP right now. No, he's not. If anybody's the MVP, it's Tyreek effing Hill, who has taken this man and put the team on his back. Tyreek Hill, yes, Tua has to put the ball in places, but then Tyreek says, whoof, whoof, whoof. It looks literally, if you took Sonic the Hedgehog and had a baby with Deshaun Jackson, that is Tyreek Hill right now. He is burning people in ways that don't make. He looks like he's Tokyo drifting fools. That's what's going on, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense. Now, mind you, I'm also a little bitter right now. I'm happy I picked up Mostert and on one team. Thank God. But I had what's his name? Is it Arachne? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, the running back, the rookie for the Dolphins. Yeah, Achane. Yeah.
Achane?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I'm going to let you say.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay. How do you know when this man is going to finally decide to go off? Because he's done nothing for the last 2 weeks. And then this week he decided to go for 203 and 2 touchdowns, sitting on my bench with 49 points. Could have bailed me out and I lost, bro. Like, goddamn, a chain. Okay, a chain. Cool. He's like wearing a chain. I got it. Cool. How I know my nigga gonna pull his 2 chains out right now? Okay, I didn't know that he pulled out 2 chains and 2 titties. I wasn't ready for this.
Got there early, didn't we? Okay, all right, fair enough. Let's those chains hang low. Yeah, listen, I agree with you in terms of, but like I saw Sean Brennan, of course, Sean Brennan always with the weird takes. Sean saying that his team is fantastic in terms of Purdy. The team would be 16-1. Hilarious how we don't say team with Miami when they have Tyreek Hill, when they have Jalen Waddle, when they have a Chain, when they have Raheem Mostert. You've got these guys that are weapons all over the field, a strong O-line. They went and got a better O-line to kind of help him out as well. So it's the team that is also part. It's not like Tua is dragging this team to victories. There are incredible amount of players that are great skill players on the Dolphins. So I think the situations are comparable between Miami and San Francisco.
Wait a minute.
That's my early Super Bowl prediction. If Tua stays healthy and Brock stays healthy, it's Miami versus San Francisco in the Super Bowl. That's my belief.
Rocha, Chain had 4 total touchdowns. He had 2 through the air.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
God damn it. But also, look, I will tell you this. If you're talking about converting them to dubs, sure. You need to. You need a solid quarterback, period, to pull that off. Yeah. Let's be real. However, even when Tua was out last year and Teddy was in there, Tyreek Hill was burning fools. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's not sit here and pretend that, like, Tua deserves his praises for what he's doing.
Yes.
I would never take that away from him. Right. But if we're genuinely talking about who is the MVP out here in these streets, it's Tyreek Hill. And if a Chain ever does this again, then Tua becomes the third wheel. Like, what? What's going on, bro?
This is not LeBron and the LeBronettes. You know, like, there are legitimately great skill players at all these positions from Miami. So, I mean, it's a difference. I mean, with San Francisco was terrible without Brock Purdy in terms of offense. Yeah, Jimmy G was fine. He got them to the NFC Championship, but that was all defense. They're scoring higher numbers now with Purdy than they did with certainly with Trey Lance and certainly with Jimmy G. And so, you know, we'll see what happens as things go along. And certainly that shovel pass, those shovel passes, Winston, this was, I mean, they're unlocking shit. Like I texted somebody, I said, they're absolutely opening every page of the playbook in what they're doing to Denver. And even the backups were having these long runs and long touchdowns and what have you. So it was an absolute mauling, but it could be an illusion. And that's the thing. And we'll find out in Buffalo this weekend. I think that game is going to show us a lot about where Miami is and about where Buffalo is, who's a little bit on the ascendancy as well. So, but let's move on to the other thing here. Travis Kelce and the Chiefs impressed Taylor Swift and the rest of their fans as they beat the
I cannot believe that is how you decided to label this headline. It's not the Chiefs handle the Bears, they rout the Bears. It's Travis Kelce impresses Taylor Swift.
Bro, life is high school, and you know that. And the big man on campus is trying to show the head cheerleader that he's still the man. I think there's a video of Taylor Swift in one of her videos there trying to hit on the guy who's the football player. So, yeah, 41-10. This was a mauling, and I'm using the Bears as a mauling. And, of course, the week was insane with Justin Fields making comments about the coaching and having to walk that shit back, with the defensive coordinator, Alan Williams, and whatever went on with that. But Travis Kelce and the Chiefs here took care of business against the Bears. Mahomes threw for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Kelce had 7 catches and a touchdown. Well, let's get your thoughts on the game first. So what are your thoughts here about the Chiefs? They look like maybe now they're back to humming. The wheels are going. Or is this another situation where they played a terrible team like the Dolphins playing the Broncos? So we should praise it, but don't put too much meaning into this victory. What are your thoughts?
Okay, there's a lot going on here. First of all, I'm sorry to say, Chicago, you have fully broken Justin Fields. I genuinely think that this kid has a lot of talent, and I think, just like he said, he's had such terrible coaching that I think he's just broken. You have to hope that at some point Chicago lets him go. Yeah. And lets him go find something somewhere else. And he's not so broken that something can be salvaged. Yeah. I remember when he got drafted thinking to myself, all the Chicago fans were like, oh my God. And I was like, you are going to ruin that young man. I remember specifically talking to 2 Chicago fans that I know, and they were so excited. I said, no. I feel horrible for Justin Fields. Sure, he's now a millionaire. That man is about to be ruined. And here we are. Yeah. Let alone the fact, before we even get into the game. Sure. Sorry, I got some hair in my mouth.
Sorry about that. Go ahead. Keep going.
Anyway, that the defensive coordinator resigned. Yes. And apparently did have his house raided by authorities. Yes. Not the Bears facility, but his actual house was raided by authorities because of some sort of inappropriate behavior that's going on. So, like, I venture to say that other than the Bears being an unmitigated disaster, that's probably a lot for the team to be like, what the F is going on? Let alone that the defense would probably be pretty fucking bad. Yeah. At 41, giving up 41 points. Yeah. Any team that's given up 40, their defense is not good. I'm looking at you Giants. I'm looking at you Bears. I'm damn sure looking at you Broncos. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the first thing I think to think here, instead of the Chiefs did incredible, is that the Bears are just a landmine of drama and BS.
Yeah, and I don't know how much is the head coach's fault, right? It's his first year, second year as head coach. I don't know how much of this is on him, to be honest with you. It just feels like there's all kinds going on. I know Justin was talking shit about him and whatever, and then had to walk it back. But, I mean, how do you overcome this Alan Williams situation? You know that it was a former Chicago Bear who tipped the FBI off about Alan Williams. It's Chicago Bears Charles Peanut.
Oh, Tillman. I forgot Tillman works with the FBI
He's now. An agent with the FBI, and he informed Chicago's upper management, including head coach Matt Eberflus and GM Ryan Poles and President Kevin Warren about defensive coordinator Alan Williams' house being raided. And he said he was retiring to go spend time with his family, or resigning to spend time with his family. But, like, it came out that it was inappropriate behavior, as Winston said. And I found a couple of tweets I thought were hilarious. Winston, someone tweeted out, I'm beginning to think that the inappropriate behavior that Alan Williams is accused of was that he wanted to rush more than 4 people, and Eberflus took offense to that. And the other tweet, was, until they explain to me what inappropriate behavior is, I'm just going to be convinced that Alan Williams was walking around with his dong out trying to coach the Bears defense. So there's all kinds of places. And this is funny because nothing has leaked. Nothing is, like, officially leaked about what this inappropriate behavior is. Was he sleeping with some of the players? Was he messing around with children? Was he doing terrible shit? Was he doing financial shit? What was the stuff that got the FBI involved? Not the local authorities, the fucking FBI. Winston, what happened here? I want to know.
I definitely want to know too. I don't want to throw speculations out there because plenty had been thrown out, and I'm just like, I'm not trying to play that game, especially if it's like, look, if he's like tax evading, that's not good, and you should face your punishment for it. But that's a very different like crime than like
the IRS gets involved
if there are like minors involved. Or if there's like some trafficking of some sort involved. Those are very different. So I'm not going to speculate shit. I'm just going to say we need to figure out really what is. I would love to hear what's going on. Now, as far as the Chiefs, I'm glad to see they're getting back to form. You're supposed to beat up teams like this by a score like that. That is the correct response. I would actually be disappointed in them if they had only scored like 2 or 3 times. Yeah. So like, I'm not going to give a cookie to what is the current dynasty in the NFL. Like Sean loves to get really upset and say that we just shit on the Chiefs all the time. No, it's that if you're that high achieving, you are not getting praise for underachieving. You have to continue to be at the level at which you are doing things. And so the Chiefs doing this is par for the course. It's kind of like if the Warriors, for example, like we're talking heyday Warriors, because right now it's up in the air if they're still going to be good or not. But if you're talking heyday Warriors, if you were out here getting beat by like the Pacers, who have not been good for a minute, you don't get brownie points. You know what I'm saying? If you are out here in these streets like beating say the Lakers are getting better now, but if you're beating the Lakers by like a score. Like essentially maybe 2 possessions in basketball is the equivalent of like maybe a touchdown or whatever. Right. You're not getting brownie points. You were a dynasty team that nobody can stop, which means that you need to be putting up those kind of numbers on a regular basis. So I'm glad that the Chiefs have kind of, maybe this is the confidence boost that they need. Yeah. Or maybe it was because the Chiefs feel honored that they get to play in Taylor Swift Stadium, because apparently, according to all white women everywhere, she owns every single stadium. She's
it's her world now, man. We're all
this is not the Kelce family box. That was the Swift box that the Kelce family was honored enough to be a part of. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so like I'll say is this, bro. Yeah. Because I know you want to talk about Taylor Swift. You put it on the damn run.
Come on, it's on the rundown.
You want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. I found it very, very funny. Somebody pointed out some of Kelce's last few girlfriends. Oh, and it was, and I think that Taylor and Travis are cute. I think that they're, it is what it is. Whether this is a publicity stunt or not, we'll see what it is. But it is very funny that like Travis has been known to like having been around so many black folk, having a black scent and all that kind of stuff. Like some thick sisters and all that kind of stuff. And then like Taylor, like, you know what I'm saying? And Taylor is beautiful. Taylor is absolutely beautiful, but it is very funny. Though the women he's dated and the woman he is now with are drastically different.
It's a different situation for sure. And Taylor is, and same thing with Taylor. Like Taylor's been dating usually British dudes over the last few years.
British dudes, the whitest of the white, and then she went and found her the blackest white dude maybe in the NFL.
This is as close as she'll get to dating a black guy, is what you're trying to say.
I think so.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to say.
Look,
and I understand and respect.
I'll tell you right now, it wouldn't actually. Maybe it would make me happy. I don't know, but who would instantly. Would probably die and go to heaven right away if we found out one day that Taylor was dating like Michael B. Jordan. My girlfriend Kristen would die. She has told me a million times if Michael B. Jordan came right now and said, I want to run off with you, that I'm yesterday's news. That's it. Wow. That's a wrap. That's the top of her list. That's a wrap. Odell Beckham Jr. is up there, but when I tell him, he keeps blowing his knees out, so it's not like he could do anything with her anyway. She just gets real sad and gets quiet. So like,
does your girlfriend know he's going to cheat on her? Like, I mean, like, does Kristen know he's going to cheat
Michael B. Jordan or Odell?
Huh?
But who's gonna cheat on who?
Michael B. and Odell would both cheat on your girlfriend. You know that, right? Like they're not respectable guys.
How dare you? How dare you? Nobody would cheat on her. How dare you? How dare you?
No, I'm not saying
How
I'm
dare
not
you?
saying it's anything on her. I'm saying these dudes are going to have a lot of choices. Is all I'm saying.
But that's the whole thing, though. Michael B is respectable. I don't know about Odell. I don't follow him like that. He was a giant. He was a giant for too long. Yeah, man. You don't realize that it wasn't Michael B that broke up with Lori Harvey. Lori Harvey broke his heart.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Because the man had the wherewithal to be like, I would like a prenup. Which would make sense. Lori Harvey is rich independently by being the child of Steve Harvey, and her mama was like, "Hell no, he gives a prenup. You ain't doing it." I don't know how we got off of football. Ended up talking about
it's you. You're just going. I'm just letting you go, man. I'm just letting you go.
All I'm saying is, man. All I'm saying is, I'm happy to see the Chiefs back to form. I do enjoy watching them play. I just, again, same thing. Who have they, like, you lost to the Lions, which, you know, the Lions are looking to make a name for themselves. Who do they play? There you go. That's what I'm talking about. They showed the photo of him before, and now they show the photo of him now. Oh, my God.
It's the turns off his body cam that is my favorite part of this.
It's the turns off his body. Oh my God, bro. Holy crap. But I do want to see. I mean, the Chiefs are lucky, man. They have a very easy schedule. The only teams that
we got back to the football. Okay. Because I mean, Winston was the one that said I wanted to talk about Taylor, and he just went on for like 20 minutes about Taylor Swift. Let's put that on the table.
Because if Kristen happens to watch the show, and if I didn't mention Taylor Swift by name, then I probably would have had to move out while she's out of town. I would have had to get out of the apartment. So I'm looking at their schedule, man.
Yeah.
There's no reason that they should lose a single game until they play the Dolphins.
Listen, I'm not trusting you on any of this. You said the same thing about the Cowboys, and they went and laid an egg against the Cardinals. You thought they were going to go undefeated. You said that.
I said that there's no reason that we should have lost a game. And that's what I'm saying here too. There's no reason they should lose to the Jets. There's no reason they should lose to the Vikings. There's no reason they should lose to the Broncos twice. And there's no reason that they should lose to the Chargers. All of those teams have proven that they are barely holding on for dear life and just trying to figure out how to make it through it. When you throw in the fact that with the Chargers, they just lost Mike Williams.
Yeah, they lost Mike Williams. Yeah.
So you got to hope that Quentin Johnson will show up. But I have heard rumors now that apparently my brother is having trouble reading routes and defenses and breaking out of zones, which is for somebody that was taken so high and has a lot of raw talent. Yeah. If you're struggling to understand that, bro, that's going to be a problem. Yeah. So like none of these teams, now it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, bro, but none of these teams should be a threat until the Dolphins. So based off of what Sean loves to go on and on about, bro, they better be undefeated until the Dolphins. They better be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They better be 7-1 when they play the Dolphins.
That's true. Oh, Boogie says, black men don't cheat. Easy, Rocha. I don't know. I saw a Dwayne Wade crying about cheating on Gabrielle Union last week. So
that was a black boy.
Black men don't cheat.
What? That was a black boy, not a black man.
Oh. Wow.
He hadn't grown up yet. He hadn't grown up yet. Now he's a grown-ass man. He would never. He would never. He would never.
Look, Martin Luther King.
Hey,
the Reverend, there's tapes, the Reverend.
Hey, I heard they had an understanding. Okay, they had an arrangement. That's what I heard. Coretta was like,
"We're gonna get Coretta on the show."
Coretta was like, "You better free all black people, nigga. I swear to God, I will kill you."
It's a good speech. That's a good speech.
All I know is Jay-Z. Black boy, and then he cheated on Beyonce and put out 444 and became a black man. He said, "Never again, my queen. Never again. I'm so sorry."
If Solange kicked the shit out of me in an elevator, I'd become a man after that ride as well. Come on, listen, Travis Kelce. So the Taylor Swift timeline, for those of you who don't know, because Winston took up all the air of this story, but let me tell you something right now. They started around April having these weird conversations. He showed up at her concert and essentially cried that she didn't go backstage to meet him. He had all these friendship bracelets. He wanted to give her one with his phone number on it, but she didn't want to accept anybody coming out backstage. So he went on about it on his show. And then eventually on August 5th, there was some stuff on the social media for the Chiefs doing a TikTok video about this, asking who their biggest crush is. And Kelce kind of admitted that it's Taylor Swift. And then he went on the Amazon Prime postgame show. Tony Gonzalez asked about it, and he said, "I'm not going to comment on it, but alluded to the fact that they might be seeing each other And then, of course, Pat McAfee went on there and made it very obvious that he threw the ball in her court, and then she showed up. But I got to ask you this, Winston. I mean, listen, I know it's her world, and we're all just living in it, but this is a little extra, isn't it? I mean, it's one touchdown. They're up 34-0, and she's going to chest bump, and then she's going to say, let's fucking go so loud. I mean, you're up 34 and now 40 in that. Isn't that a bit of, and then banging on the glass? Come on now. I mean, tell me you've never been to an NFL game without telling me you've never been to an NFL.
Rocha.
It's a little much. It's a little
Rocha,
much.
do you understand why Taylor Swift is as successful as she is?
White people
totally fine. Thank you. Totally fine. I will give her all the credit in the world for being a very talented musician, an incredible lyricist as far as like what people have said about her songwriting. She is the reason why so many, like everybody, but specifically white women that follow her glom onto her is because she is the supreme version of them. Yeah, like that in the same way that I'd be looking at Denzel and Idris, and I'm like, I'm right there. I'm trying to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'd be looking at LeBron. I look at Donald Glover. I'm like, right there. Like, come on. Right. That this is Childish Gambino for white women. All right. You know what I'm saying? So of course, am I wrong? Am I wrong, Rocha?
This is America. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
So all I'm saying is, like, to that point, I love the fact that she was into the game, and I love the fact that, like, I literally, unless you're talking about like them like Southern girls that like they've been bleeding red, roll tide since they came out the womb. You know what I'm saying? She is a yes, she's from Philly. But Taylor Swift has been rich and famous and like, you know, that person for a minute. So it's like the person that's like, football is beneath me. I don't watch that. And then the first time you see, you're like, okay, let's do it. And on top of that, that was her baby, or her baby in the moment being like, he scored a touchdown. Of course you're going to be like, let's fucking go. Dude, do you understand that whenever we playing dodgeball, if Kristen got the last out, I was out here on the phone. Like, that's just how that works.
I guess I'm in a different place, because let me show you the Lady Outlaw's reaction when I beat William Bibiani for the title. She was front row. She was like, that's right. That's right. That's it.
You know why?
That's all you need to do.
You know why? Because Lady Outlaw's Latina, isn't she?
No, she's half Native American, half white.
Okay, that's essentially Latina. Because I'll put it to you this
way.
Because for a couple of reasons, she saw a strong Latino man.
She don't give away too much. Yeah.
And she herself as a half Native American, half white, she was like, "That's right, you get that." And that was that for the belt, or that was just for the
belt. That was for the belt. I mean,
okay,
she clapped as well, but like certainly it was like, yeah, you got it done. Yeah.
Hey man, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I get it. She's keeping her composure. Okay, it is what it is.
I just think I think it's Taylor being Taylor, and Taylor over, like, you know, at the beginning, Taylor was always like, whenever she won an award, who, me? Oh my God. Me? So like this idea of overreacting to things is just standard Taylor Swift. My only point is that it just shows to me that it feels like this is a little bit of a PR move on both sides. Both people are really famous. Both people are very well respected and successful in their respective fields. And they're doing this thing. And look, she was taking a lot of shit for dating that Matty Healy guy who was saying some racist, sexist shit in her concerts. You follow it up with a guy that is very beloved like Travis Kelce and kind of gets you a little bit of pseudo street cred. It's a smart move PR-wise for her. And people seem to love the story. They're pointing out here in the chat, Kelce's jerseys jumped 400%. So I'm always making money off this. And the NFL's viewership jumped highly for this game as well. People would have watched this game, but the numbers were way higher because the rumor was Taylor Swift was going to be there. So, you know, you can't deny she is a juggernaut of entertainment, a juggernaut who is going to get eyes, going to get views. And the NFL never one to shy away from, you know, having take advantage of a situation like this. Certainly has played into it in all the pundits and all the shows. And certainly we have here as well. So I think it's great. I think it's fun. But I'm also going to, you know, make a little fun of it as well. So there's nothing wrong with that, for God's sakes. And I see Sean and Tushka in here as Chiefs fans acting like they would be losing their fucking minds over a Travis Kelce touchdown when they're up 34 points on the Bears. If you're still doing that when you're up 34 points on the Bears, you're not used to winning. That's what I would say, because
my
Commanders score this much. I'm not going to be like, yeah, running around the fucking room.
Rocha, I will tell you this much: there's a different, because the Commanders don't know how to score like this, so it is what it is.
Oh,
there's a different feeling. There's a different feeling.
You know, we were winning the Super Bowl in '91.
Different feeling that kicks in when you are embarrassing another team. Where you're sitting here just being like, Jesus Christ,
I feel bad.
Are we playing other professionals? What's happening right now? There's a different thing that just clicks in your brain. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, I would say, when the United States men's national team in soccer is scoring 9 goals on Trinidad and Tobago, I'm not going crazy every time we score 9 goals. I'm like, okay, after we score the first 2 or 3, the game's in hand. I'm relaxing and enjoying the goals. But I'm not banging on glass and chest bumping and going, let's fucking go, like it's a tough contest.
But if it's Lady Outlaw that did it, you're not doing that. If that's her first touchdown of the game, you're not out here in these streets be like, that's my girl.
What's wrong? It's not the first touchdown he's ever fucking scored. What are you
No, but it was the first one of the day, was it not?
No, it was not. Again, they were up 34 points.
It was Travis's only touchdown. Oh, right.
It was. But he had caught
Travis's touchdown that she did that.
Yeah, I know.
You're acting like it was some random dude on the team. Who is Devon? I don't know him. Good for him. It was literally Travis. Wow! Like, what, are you kidding me? It's her first NFL game. It's her first NFL game with her new man, and he scored a touchdown and hit one of these.
We don't know if they're together. We don't know if they're together.
They're together enough that she showed up to be like again. If they're not boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah. She still got the invitation and showed up.
Yeah. Fair point.
In which case, that is his date to the game. Okay. Again, whether or not they are official is not the point. She came for Travis.
Right.
Because otherwise, everything I've ever heard, because her being out of Philly, she's an Eagles fan. So if anything, she should have been supporting Travis's brother over there in Philly, talking about, look at my potential brother-in-law. Potential, because we ain't official yet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. Come on.
All right, man. All right. Someone posted something really funny on Twitter, which was they had a white blonde woman screaming, and they were saying this is Brittany Mahomes when she sees Taylor Swift at the games, because like she's going to take all her social media credit right away from her, and she's going to be the one people that people are going to focus on, the girlfriend or the wife of a famous Chiefs player. I thought that was
what makes it what makes me laugh about that is now all of a sudden Taylor becomes the Beyonce in the situation. If you know,
my God.
No. So hear me out. So if Patrick and Brittany and Travis and Taylor all hang out, you now have a situation where Travis and Taylor are Jay-Z and Beyonce, which would then make Patrick Mahomes Kanye, and would make Brittany Mahomes Kim Kardashian. And Beyonce did not like mingling with Kim Kardashian.
She did not. You could tell. That was a woman way below her station. I don't care who the fuck quotes me.
Beyonce did not like Kim around.
She was like, "That's trash." Here's one that I liked. For those of you old enough to get it, that's so Brittany Taylor better watch herself.
The only problem with that, the only reason that's not going to work. The Swifties are crazy.
Yes, they are. I'm probably going to get killed.
No one tried to kill Tanya Harding after that. There will be no more Brittany Mahomes if she does that to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She will not exist.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and good point. Tishka said also looked like Flo Rida sitting next to her, and on the other side was Mama Kelce not being amused by her screaming. Yeah, because Mama Kelce gets it. She's like, maybe calm your ass down. Anyway, it's all right. So anyway, we're moving on.
Well, that's because Mama Kelce was there when her baby won the Super Bowl and another Super Bowl, and her other baby was in a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
The Lord of Darkness, I will not take your slander. I may not be a part of the Beehive, but to say Beyonce is overrated, you clearly did not go to the Renaissance concert, because Beyonce is the greatest.
Yeah, you can't say
she is right up there, like. As far as straight performance and the hype and everything, she's right up there with Prince. She's right up there with Michael Jackson. She's right up there with the Beatles. She is a once in a generation talent as far as straight performance.
If you're a one name talent, you have hit a certain level that very, very, very few people get to. You're absolutely right there, Winston, for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a quick break now that we've talked all the Taylor's 2 games. Took us 50 minutes. Fuck shit. All right, we'll be right back right after this. Oh man! All right, here we go. All right, we gotta take. Oh, Sue, where are you at? Here, no, where are you at? Jesus Christ!
What
There we go.
the
Sorry about that.
hell?
I've got so many overlays. All right, here we go. Winston, we got to come back down to earth and talk about your Cowboys here.
No, I tried to burn all the time on the show so we didn't have to, Rocha. I tried to avoid this.
You did. Dak and the Cowboys got upset by the Cards here, 28-16. It wasn't as close as you think. And this is the first win by Josh Dobbs this season with these Cardinals. They had been in the lead in all of their games at halftime, but were unable to get victories against the Giants or my Commanders. But they did get the job done here against the Cowboys, who were on the road. Dobbs was 17 of 21, while James Conner and Rondale Moore both ran for a touchdown to help them. And the Dak Prescott threw a very costly red zone interception there. He went 25 of 40 for 249, a touchdown, and that costly interception just as the Cowboys were coming back here, which pretty much sealed the win. So this is right on the heels or a few days after they had lost Trayvon Diggs, their starting cornerback with an ACL injury. So what are your thoughts on this game, Winston? Is this an anomaly? Dak said this was a humbling loss. What are your thoughts on this? Were they riding too high after everyone was pumping them up, or is this just standard Cowboy stuff that you've seen every week? Every season.
Okay, so here's the issue. I can't determine. I sort of have my evidence, but I can't determine if this is typical Cowboys BS or if this just goes to show how much losing Diggs actually hurt the team. Because like the defense still did as well as they could. They tried, and you notice it in moments. You forced Prater to kick a 62-yard damn field goal, almost breaking his record for the longest kick he's done. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're still seeing, like, I can never pronounce it. Trying to say Hercules, the adjective form of Hercules, the Herculean effort. Herculean effort. Is that how you say it? It was still a Herculean effort out of the team. Archain. Fuck you. Because Dobbs only had 189 yards. It's not like he was out here in these streets balling out of control. Like Connor, overall rushing, they had a lot of really good rushing yardage, but nobody individually broke 100. Connor almost did. He was 2 yards short, so he still did his work. You know what I'm saying? So like the Cardinals were playing well, but they weren't like blow your mind this time type situation. What really sucked is that you had a situation where Dak was actually playing decently until that interception, which was extremely costly, and then went from you had a good game to you had a terrible game. To end it like that, and especially when it's like they did a freeze frame of when the ball is released and where the receivers are, and it's like you were literally throwing to the Cardinals defender, and it even felt like I've been there before with like beer pong, where like or even dodgeball. Dodgeball will be better because it's an actual sport. I have thrown a ball knowing that is about to be caught. I literally, as I released the ball, I said, nope, that is about to be caught. That is a bad throw.
I mean, it's triple coverage.
Sure. But like, that's a bad angle. There's an angle where it's directly behind Dak. And when I tell you, you can see it. He is literally not, it's like, it's not good. It's not good. He thinks he's Brady. Trying to needle that through, and he's good, but he's not Brady. He's not even close to Brady.
And you can see the tight end is wide open here on the left. If they let me go back to it, but you can see the tight end is wide open on the left. Maybe they don't. The internet is Twitter is so weird with the stuff sometimes. Oops, wrong. That was Jade Cargill. There you can see the tight end right there seems to have Winston the angle on the defender. If he throws it tight into the tight end, maybe he's able to fend off with his body and get into that end zone.
I get it because they're 3rd and goals, so he's thinking to himself, this is a must-score scenario instead of we score on the next play if we don't get this one.
Right, because they still have to kick the, kick the ball and maybe do an onside kick.
There's a lot about this that I just didn't like, but I'm telling you the thing that I felt more than anything, I felt the loss of Diggs. I think Gilmore is he's a former defensive player of the year. He's an incredible corner, but he's older. And you saw a couple times he got burned. and because he'd be put on the speedier receiver that normally Diggs would be there for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was something that you immediately saw that there is now a gaping hole. We had finally put the full puzzle piece together, and now you lost a massive piece to this puzzle, man. And it sucks so hard.
Yeah. And you say that because you think, because Dak seems like a genuinely cool dude. And it just seems so frustrating that he has these moments. But then again, it's just one game and you kind of shake it off. And if they come back and reel off 6 or 7 straight, then it's a different conversation at that point, man. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I see a lot of people saying that Diggs has nothing to do with the rushing attack. That's BS, because if you notice, remember, Diggs was the one that was out here keeping people in check.
Right.
For like Saquon got messed up multiple. He was a forced fumble because of Diggs. Okay. Right. You know what I'm saying? Breece Hall was held to like 30 yards in that game. Same thing, because you had this situation on top of the fact everybody wanted to come at Dallas about why is Diggs telling Dak, not in my house, you SOB.
Right.
It's very clear that Diggs was the heart of that team and getting that attitude in their bodies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the same way that you had Richard Sherman being the mouthpiece for the Legion of Boom.
Right.
Everybody was playing their role, but Diggs clearly is the one that, other than making big plays, he is the one that is driving that energy into that defense. Losing him really messed people up. Clearly, there were even a couple of catches that CD kind of messed up on that he clearly was rattled. You lost somebody that was the heart of the team, and he probably wasn't there. They probably have him back at the hospital so he could have his surgery done already, and he'll be with the team going forward. But not having them there, that hurt them, and you could tell that they were not whole.
That's a fair point. This is what you're talking about, the behind the.
Yes, you see that?
You can see
not
that.
Even close.
Yeah,
not even close.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
It's a nonsense. If you're gonna do that, you have to go up and over. Why would you?
Yeah. Why throw it straight? Exactly. It's a great point. But let's focus on end racism back there. I think that's important too. All right, let's see. Let's move on. So we'll see what happens with the Cowboys in the next few weeks, and how they bounce back from this. But this could just the Cardinals were knocking at the door over these last 3 games, and they were bound to get one of these victories, and certainly they should have had it against the Giants. And maybe they realized and corrected some stuff, so that when they got up on the Cowboys, they were able to stay up on the Cowboys. Even though the Cowboys did come storming back, they weren't able to get back all the way. So yeah.
Last thing I will say, because people are still like, I thought it was Micah Parsons, and you just said Gilmore. So let me tell you right now, this is clear how this has played out, because Gilmore brought, I'm not saying the team was stupid, but he was clearly the head. He was the brains. That's why they brought him in as a smart vet to teach people what to do. Micah Parsons is like the blood, bro. He like the fact that he is all over the place all the time. But then Diggs is the heart. That's it. Do you know what it did for that team when 2 years ago when he almost broke the record for the most interceptions by a single player? Like, on top of the fact that, remember, turnovers is how defenses really end up winning games. Proof in the pudding. That is how we ended up finally losing this game. Turnovers are key, and Diggs has been that guy that causes turnovers.
And that's a big thing to lose in your equation. You can't discount a guy on your team like that, who is a really essential part of the defense, for sure. I see some people coming after you for not giving more respect to the Chiefs losing in the first week without Travis Kelce, but I don't know. I think that's a kind of different situation, to be honest with you.
It is a different situation when you're talking about somebody that is arguably a generational talent in Patrick Mahomes. In moments like that, when you've already denounced we don't need Tyreek Hill anyway, and you have the opportunity to go get a bunch of veteran receivers to kind of give a little bit of extra help. We don't need the veteran receivers. Our young guys will do it. There is something to be said about the Super Bowl champs playing the way they played. It was a very close game. The score does not tell how they were manhandled that game.
Right.
Like, Patrick Mahomes was able to keep them in it. But there is something to be said about that you know what I'm saying? That without Chris and without Travis, you thought that Patrick would be enough. He's a 2-time MVP, a 2-time champion, a 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing the Dolphins, okay? Like, he wasn't playing the Niners. What the fuck are we talking about?
This is just breaking here about 10 minutes ago, Winston. The Jets are signing veteran free agent quarterback Trevor Siemian. This is the best they could do off the trash heap of quarterbacks that are left out there. Trevor Siemian, that is not going to win you games. Trevor Siemian.
No. I want Trevor to have a chance. I want him to have a chance. Don't you come for Trevor.
All right.
No, he couldn't even say the words. I'm sorry. It was funny.
Trevor.
I hope I for his sake, man, like, he's older, journeyman. I actually hope that is what does it. I hope that is the missing piece for the Jets, and I hope that they're able to handle their business, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, good to see Matt Thomas in here. I had no idea this was its own channel now. I've been talking about it for a year. Glad I found it. Thanks, Winston. Congrats on the continued success, Rocha. There you go. Yeah, Trevor Siemian, that ain't gonna. Yeah, I remember him. We played for the Broncos and played for a couple other teams in the NFL. Not a guy that translates to a lot of wins. He was kind of heralded initially and then really kind of shit the bed after a couple of victories. So we'll see. Maybe he's competent enough to keep them in games so the defense can win some games. Because, I mean, the Jets were falling apart. We'll get to that in a little bit. Lamar and the Ravens were upset by the Colts here, man. 22-8. Speaking about another quarterback, has these shocking losses. They lost to the Colts, not with their star quarterback, rookie quarterback there, Anthony Richardson. It was Gardner Minshew, the mustache, led them to a victory here, 22-18, thanks to Matt Gay, who scored 4 field goals beyond 50 yards, Winston, including the 53-yarder that tied it in the final minute, and then the 53-yarder that won it overtime. And this was after the Ravens had 2 separate drives in overtime to win the game at home in Baltimore in the rain. You would argue they were more equipped than a dome team like the Colts to win a game like this, and they still lost, even though Lamar Jackson scored 2 of the touchdowns on his legs. So what do you take away from this, man? Is this once again the Ravens underperforming in certain moments against certain teams and playing down to competition, or is this an anomaly of a victory, man? What are your thoughts?
I think that the Master Chief is about to be the head quarterback for the New York Jets. Go ahead and open up this photo. Tell me he don't look like Lee Shriver's little brother. Yeah. Look just like Lee Shriver's little brother over here being the Master Chief in Law and Order SVU. Like,
Orange is the new black. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's Porn Stash, bro. Porn Stash is now the head quarterback of the New York Jets. Have fun with that.
I don't know. We shall see. We shall see for that.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're talking about the
Ravens,
right?
Ravens.
I am very surprised and not surprised at the same time.
Yeah.
This was a week of like a decent number of like upsets of teams that you didn't think had any business either getting shellacked that badly, or like losing. Like, I didn't think that Lamar would lose to the Colts. The Colts without Anthony Richardson, look okay.
Right.
I didn't think that Dallas would lose to the Cardinals. I didn't think that the Broncos would lose that bad. Right. You know what I'm saying? This was the beginning of just kind of looking around and being like, what is going on right now? So
that's fair.
I expect more of Lamar, especially when everybody was calling him the MVP favorite coming out of the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You gotta put it up. You gotta put up or shut up. But it's a long season. I think the Ravens are more than able to bounce back from this.
Yeah.
It's
troubling loss. I feel like it's a troubling loss, though, don't you think?
It is. It's kind of wild because overall yardage, you had 303 from Lamar.
Yeah.
And then 2 on the ground. But like, you would hope he'd be able to get one of his receivers in the end zone.
Yeah.
There are other ways to do it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, box scores don't tell the whole story because I didn't watch this game straight up. Even though I have Sunday ticket, I realize that even my ADHD ass can't keep up with that many different screens at the same time. I just kind of like not to like take it in for like input. You know what I'm saying? I go, oh, that's a touchdown. Right. Oh, that's a touchdown. Ooh, that's a fumble. But I can't go, man, Lamar is playing not what I would expect him to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like, I would just hope to see, because again, he's got a 58.9 QBR on this game.
Yes.
You've got to get your receivers in the end zone. I think score however you're going to score, but like, you were mature enough of a quarterback in this day and age. You could put the work on him on the ground.
Yeah.
But you need to be able to throw it. That was when Cam won the MVP and went to the Super Bowl. It's sad that they couldn't finish the job.
Right.
But Cam was doing it always. He was running through you and throwing bombs. Like, you got to be able to do both, man.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. And the other side, let's move on to the other one here. And that is the other two games here. The Chargers defeated the Vikings 28-24, finally getting a victory. Two of these teams who came in surprisingly 0-2 with really strong offenses here. Finally, the Chargers outlasted the Vikings here. Herbert threw for 405 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the Chargers defense kept the Vikings out of the end zone twice in the last 3 minutes to preserve a 28-24 victory here. Look, this is a good thing for the Chargers to get this victory, although I still think Brandon Staley is underperforming as a coach of this team. Some dumb mistakes on the sideline, some really you're like, what are you doing? When they went for it on 4th down in the final minutes on their own side of the field to try to keep the ball out of the Vikings' hands, and they got smoked and gave the ball back to the Vikings on a short field with like a minute or 2 left in the game. It's one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen. Thank God the defense bailed them out, but it was a stupid decision by a coach. Why not push him back if your defense is that good? Hold them there, make them work the whole field to try to get into touchdown range overall. So it just was quizzical, but in the end, they got the victory. But you got to start looking at these Vikings and wondering how much longer Kirk Cousins is going to be their starting quarterback. For as good as he's playing, it's leading to underperformance in the playoffs. It's leading to them not doing well now in this season. I got to ask questions of Kirk Cousins as the leader of this team.
You know, I'm constantly very judgmental of your old boy Cousins. Your cousin, man. But
Kelce,
what's wild about that, bro? Last game he put up 40 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Eagles, and they lost. How is that his fault? He gave you 4 scores. He literally, if you think about it, you got to march down the field. It's about let's say worst case scenario. It's typically 80 yards if you do a touchback, or 75 because they pushed it up to 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's say worst case scenario. You got to go all the way back from your own end zone. That's 100 yards. My guy marched down the field 4 times and gave you 4 scores against the Eagles, and they lost. How is that his fault? In this game down here, he had 367 and 3 touchdowns. Yes, he had a pick. So essentially you're saying 3 out of the 4 times he marched down the field, he gave you a score.
Right.
How, again, is that his fault? At what point does the rest of the team need to step up? Now, mind you, at what point is the GM going to do something? But Justin Jefferson is probably one of the best receivers we've seen.
He's balling out like crazy, dude.
It's insane.
Yeah.
That being said, can we put somebody else around him?
Yeah.
Addison can be good sometimes. Osborne can be good sometimes. They're here and there. All right. Yeah. Hawkinson, same kind of thing. He gave you 8 for 78. Yeah. Cool. But the only one who's been consistent is Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Now, it makes you wonder how much of that is Kirk Cousins' fault for only force-feeding Justin Jefferson, or how much is it that he doesn't trust anybody else to get the job done?
That's a fair point.
The only offensive weapon you have, and you don't really have a rushing attack. Madison finally got you just under 100 yards rushing, but he has had his fumble issues. You know, it's things like that. It's a situation of where else is this offense have the ability to move around, and when is this defense going to step up and actually do something? This defense has to stop somebody. You saw the dropped. I did see that the Vikings defender tipped the ball up, couldn't get the interception, and actually batted it into a receiver's hands for a touchdown. Did you see that?
Yes.
It's, you know what I'm saying?
That's kind of one of those freak touchdowns for sure. Yeah. So maybe you're right. And Brian Flores is the head coach of the defense here for the Chargers, and that doesn't bode well with the lawsuit he has going on against the NFL right now, and how terrible. I'm so terrible, but how middling he was as a coach of the Dolphins. So it's a tough situation for Flores right now, because I think you're actually right, and I'm changing my mind on this. The defense is what we need to be looking at. How much more can Cousins do here? Because you're essentially asking Cousins to play mistake-free football, and that is nothing Kirk Cousins. That is something Kirk Cousins cannot do, is play mistake-free football consistently. Yeah. I can tell you as a Commanders fan, I'm sure there are plenty of Vikings fans now can tell you he is not a consistent player in terms of playing mistake-free football.
And the last thing that I'll say, man, I'll tell you why the Chargers won this game, because they've been running this stat on all the talking head shows. Any team that goes 0-3 has less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs, right?
Right.
So this is a situation where both teams are like, this is for our playoff berth. Either it's like it's already a must win, right?
Yeah.
But you said it about Staley. I don't think just because of where the Vikings have been and they made it to the playoffs and all that kind of stuff, I don't think any of them were necessarily on the chopping block right now. But Staley was 1,000. If he had started 0-3, that would have been it. As a matter of fact, he's probably still in the chopping block for next week. If they start 1-3, he's probably going to get fired midseason. So like this was they played for their coach. Right. They played their asses off for their coach, and it cost him Mike Williams.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because Mike Williams is out for the season now with his.
Is it truly for the season?
Yeah, out for the season. Torn ACL.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Maybe he can go visit Aaron Rodgers' doctor, who apparently is going to get Aaron Rodgers back for the playoffs, which is hilarious.
It's not like the Chargers will make the playoffs, so it's he doesn't need to rush back.
I don't know. That's a weird division.
Chargers are not going to make the playoffs.
That's a weird division. I don't know, man.
Look. The Chiefs are winning the division. Let's not even pretend like they don't have that.
The Chargers are not in the Chiefs division. They're in.
Yes, they are. The AFC
right.
West.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry. I was looking at our next game, which is the Rams and Bengals. Sorry about that. Yes, they are in the same division. Yes. Sorry.
I don't think any of those three teams are wild card caliber either. Honestly, because you're going to get the Dolphins and the Bills. It's very clear that both teams are ready to do the damn thing. I think you got the Ravens, and any of those three teams, honestly, out of the AFC North could end up taking some wild card slots. Yeah. They just got it. So they like you need Burrow to be healthy. You need the Browns to kind of continue on what they're doing. They've got a lot of sloppy play they need to clean up, but they're winning games. And then like the Steelers are the Steelers. So that you got a whole bunch there. I'm trying to think what in the South. You still have Jacksonville, which they're hit or miss, but they could kind of sneak up. I trust Jacksonville more than I trust the Raiders, the Chargers, or the damn sure not the Broncos.
Right.
So no one's coming out of the division except for the Chiefs.
You might be. I mean, because the Patriots, Jets, Texans, Jaguars, Titans, Raiders, Bengals, Chargers, and Broncos are all either 1-2 or 0-3. They're in the bottom half of, and that's 9 teams. I think out of the rest of 9 teams out of and everyone else is 2-1 or 3-0 in the AFC. So yeah, you might be right. I mean, someone's got to climb out of that quagmire of teams. You imagine the Bengals are going to do it. Let's move on to them taking care of business against the Rams, getting a much needed victory here. 19-16 last night. They got the victory. It looked like the Rams had this in hand in that first half. They were handling, the Bengals had a great first drive where Burrow was 5 of 5. But then it looked like the Rams were slowly taking this game over. And then the Bengals defense really made some adjustments towards the tail end of the first half into the second half. And that kind of curtailed a lot of what Matt Stafford wanted to do and Sean McVay there as the coach wanted to do with these Rams. And they held this potent offense to just 16 points and got the job done behind Joe Burrow. So to me, is this the opening of the door to more of the Bengals now making that turn like they did last year, going 0-2 and then making adjustments and then making that run? Or is this a little bit of fool's gold getting a much needed victory, but they've still got to find a way to bounce back and use their weapons in a better manner as we're watching them over the last 3 games? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think a lot of it just has to do with how healthy is Joe.
Right. Because you shook off the calf injury. He played. He was not substituted or sat at any point during the game. He played.
But you know what I'm saying? Like he still threw for no scores and an interception. He had 259. Like, so it was salvageable. Like, because you had but again, you want to talk about just force feeding some stuff. Like I know that T. Higginson gets super involved in this game. Jamar Chase had 12 receptions for 141. You had a situation where you're like. I immediately thought of what is that, Doja Cat and SZA. That's my best friend. He a real bad bitch, got his own. Like literally, that was a best friend bailing out a best friend. That was Jamar Chase being like, just give me the ball. Don't be. What did Jermaine Dupri say in the hardball song? Throw me the ball and watch what I do with it. That's literally what that was.
Yeah, okay.
Because Joe looked better than the last couple of weeks, but he did not look great. He still looked a little stiff.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? And on top of that, the Rams are getting back to form.
Yeah.
But the Rams are still suspect to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? That you're talking about an offense that was force feeding Cooper Kupp, and he's probably going to be gone for a little bit longer. Now, hopefully he's back. He's saying he's going to be back week 5, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
But now it's Puka Nacua has really stepped up and been their guy. And Tutu Atwell's been doing well as well. He had a touchdown last night. So, I picked up Tutu. I didn't play him. I played McLaughlin, which was a mistake, but like he's going to be involved in this. So we'll see what happens when Cooper returns, how that adjusts. Because if you've got Cooper and Puka both balling out,
that's amazing. That's what you need. That's what you need. But also, who is running the ball?
Kyron Williams, who's their starting running back right now. Yeah.
38 yards, bro.
Yeah, I know. He'd been doing well the last couple of games, but this game, the Bengals defense really came to play. I feel like the Bengals defense played like they knew their season was on the line. Like they needed this victory, and they willed the team to victory despite.
But that's whatever. I'm just looking at this, and maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's because is he a dual threat, Williams?
Yes, he catches and runs. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm looking at just the first two games. He only had 52 yards against the Seahawks on 15 attempts, and he only had 52 yards against the San Francisco 49ers on 14 attempts.
Yeah.
So then this game you had 38. I understand that there were some touchdowns involved there, and maybe it's because they were deciding to use him in short yardage situations to get those touchdowns. But like, I don't know, bro. Like,
because Akers is gone. They traded.
You kicked Akers out because they were tired of him. He was doing too much. So
Cam just doing too much. We got to get rid of him. He's just doing too much. President fight too much. Anyway, let's take a quick break, and then we'll jump into the rest of the NFL here and talk about the rest of the games here right after this. Winston, we got ourselves some Streamlabs that have come through. Let's hit these real quick, and then we'll get into the rest of the games. I am Two Fly Cam says, let's be honest. Both your teams are pretty bad. What? Fuck you. Your Commanders are probably switching back to the Skins name, hoping it makes them better somehow. LOL. Cowgirls doing the usual. You're crazy if you think they can compete with the 49ers or the Eagles. Seahawks win. Oh, for God's sakes. He's happy because Gino finally showed up.
Who said this?
This is I'm Two Fly Cam. He's a big Seahawks fan. Big.
Well, okay. All right. Well,
he's crowing over his Seahawks beating the fucking Panthers without
it was the Panthers, and they didn't play their number one draft pick. So what, you want a cookie to get out of here? I mean, he's right about the Commanders. Y'all are not good. Like
we're 2-1. Okay, we're 2-1.
Yeah, but why you let the Bills just like, come on, man.
The Bills met us outside, and we didn't know that the Bills were a mutant. And they kicked the living shit out of us outside in the yard for sure, man. In the alley.
Just got train wrecked.
Howell looked like a rookie.
You guys this week looked like when Deadpool put X-Force together in Deadpool 2. Y'all jumped off the helicopter. Y'all look like
Sam Howell got electrocuted on the line like Brad Pitt.
I thought that was Brad Pitt.
That's what I'm saying. Sam Howell was a quarterback. He got electrocuted like that. Or he got fed into the garbage, whatever that was.
The wood chipper. You know what I'm saying? So like it is what it is, man. As far as us being bad, I it's not that. I just think that we went from being, the Cowboys are the best team in football to like the Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys. We're going to be a good team that probably will underachieve. And unless I am really hoping that was the slap in the face and Diggs does get in that room and goes, "Hey, get your shit together," and then like get it together. But like, because I still think the defense is strong enough to mix it up with everybody. I still think that we can get in there. We're just not that generational defense that everybody was claiming we looked like we were going to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That doesn't. Yeah. You'll make adjustments, but like a generational defense is like you play them, you're terrified. I think that people maybe had a little bit of fear in them until they heard Diggs got hurt. And then there was like, let's test and see what we can do. And now people are like, what he bleeds. You know what I'm saying? Like he's human. That's what that shit is. So I that's all. Yeah. I don't think we're done. I just don't think we're nearly as good as we were when we started the season. That injury was a bad one.
Yeah. It could be an anomaly of a game.
Wait a minute. I'm a dumbass. We didn't have our trifecta of the linemen. I completely forgot. Zach Martin was out. Tyrell Smith was out. Everybody was out, bro. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. All right. And, this is the Seahawks schedule. So I'm Two Fly Cam. You're playing at the Giants on Monday night. The Giants look rejuvenated. Even though they had a rough loss to the 49ers, I think they look good, and they're going to maybe bounce back. That's going to be an interesting game. Then they're at Cincinnati. And if Cincinnati is getting back on that roll, it's going to be a tough game. Then you play Cleveland, and Deshaun Watson certainly balled out this weekend.
The Cardinals.
could be interesting. Oh yeah, the Cardinals. Yeah, they play the Cardinals as well. We'll see what happens with that. But then it's at the Ravens. Then you play my Commanders. If my Commanders beat you in Seattle, that's going to be hilarious. Then you have the Rams who whipped the shit out of you in the first game. Then the 49ers, Cowboys, and 49ers. That's back to back to back. That's a hell of a threesome. And then the Eagles after that. That's a hell of a 4-game stretch that's going to let us know if the Seattle Seahawks are ready for the playoffs or not, bro.
Yo, wait a minute. On top of the fact that you're talking about a very different Rams team.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a divisional game against a team that looks like they're kind of sorting their ish out. Then 3-4 matchups with 3 of the strongest defenses in the league.
Yeah.
That's good luck. Good luck. I look forward to that game. Kristen is a diehard Seahawks fan. There's going to be a lot of arguing. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Sure. And then let's see here. Mike Joyce says, I lost in fantasy this week because of that play where the refs incorrectly called Amari Cooper out of bounds. Have you two ever lost a game of fantasy football because of nonsense like that? That's right. The Amari Cooper situation, out of bounds. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that, Winston, the Amari Cooper situation? I can pull it up. And also, have you ever lost a fantasy football off of something like that?
Plenty of times. It happens all the time. The Calvin Johnson no catch, that was clearly a catch.
Oh, yeah.
Not fantasy football, but a bet I had going on the Cowboys-Packers playoff game. Dez, that was clearly a catch.
Yes.
Like plenty. Yeah, he's clearly in bounds. That's nonsense.
Yeah, the refs blew. That ref right there is literally looking at it and blew the whistle. And I saw some people this week say something that I think is correct, because this happens and we know this, Winston, as watchers of the Premier League. Now they don't call off sides until the play comes to fruition and something happens. Even if you score a goal or whatever, then they'll call the offsides because they want to let the play to develop if it's close. I agree with this. I think the ref shouldn't blow the whistle if it's close. Let the play continue. Then you review the play afterwards. And it was a scoring play a scoring play anyway.
Yes, and on top, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's not within the 2 minutes. Like if he's really not that sure, which is wild, there should be something along the lines of, if that happened, you definitely need a situation where the play. That's so weird. That's weird because once the whistle is blown, the ball is like it's dead.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? Like, my man was running to the end zone. Just a lot going on, bro. That's rough. That one sucks. Yeah. As an Amari Cooper fan, that one sucked. That one hurt.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. All right.
Oh, I thought you were laughing about the fun fact. Travis Kelce finished with 69 yards in the now famous Taylor Swift game.
You see people took pictures of her knees and they're kind of scuffed up. They're like, oh, Travis already making her work. And it's like, what's wrong with y'all, man? She's doing a concert where she is dancing around, going down on her knees, flipping around. It's incredible. She has bruises from that concert. You know?
I can't. I won't. I will not. I'm not going to be a part of that.
People are terrible. All right, M. Thomas. Matt's in here. He says, as much as I hate to admit it, Watson looked way more like the Watson of old, and if he continues that trajectory, the Browns are going to be scary. Thoughts? What are your thoughts here, Winston? The Browns took care. We should get it. Well, actually, we'll put a pin in Matt. And we'll swing back around. Let me read the scores real quick, and then we'll get into that conversation here with the Browns and what happened with Jameis. Because sorry, not Jameis. What's his face? So. What the fuck? Did I lose the thing? Oh shit. Hold on a second. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So the Bills destroyed the Commanders, as we said, 37-3. It really was a destruction. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. The Eagles defeated the Buccaneers 25-11. The 49ers crushed the Giants on Thursday Night Football 30-12. Packers rallied from 17 points down to beat the Saints 18-17. As soon as Jameis Winston came in the game, it was over for the Saints. Steelers beat the Raiders 23-18. The Seahawks beat the Panthers 37-27. Texans upset the Jags 37-17. The Patriots outlasted the Jets 15-10. The Lions beat the Falcons 26, and the Browns, with Deshaun Watson, defeated the Titans 27-3, who had just upset the Chargers the week before. So, Deshaun Watson looked good, man. What do you want to talk about from these games?
That maybe Derek Carr is more of an uplift for the Saints team than people realize.
Yeah.
Like that was shocking. He was handling his business.
Yep.
Against the Packers. He was handling his business, and then he went down, and Jameis just ain't the guy, dude. Yeah. He's not anymore. And I think there's something to be said about, like, once you lose those first team reps, once you lose being that starter, you lose a step a little bit. Understandably so. You're waiting. You're kind of rusty. You're not in it and constant getting used to the speed. And Jameis just did not look good. He did not look good, man. And that one hurt. Other than that, like, shout out to the Lions. Like, the Lions continue to be the team that you better watch yourself, because the Falcons were not good, but they were showing some signs of life with Bijan behind them, and they kept Bijan in check. Yeah. So shout out to the Lions. That's my favorite of this. I
mean, Desmond Ridder, they beat the Packers last week, the Falcons. So, you know, it was a good team to beat for the Lions, and they handily did it. Did it. You know,
What about you?
Yeah, for me, let's talk about the Jets, man. I know we talked about Trevor Siemian earlier. I had a battle with our friend Ed Haskell on Twitter about this. Ed's way too passionate about the Jets, but I respect him. Things you care about. But he's trying to tell me everything is fine with the Jets. There's no issues. But in this one game, you have Michael Carter going at it with his running backs coach, getting in the face. Now, this wasn't in Hard Knocks. They seemed to be really happy. Everyone was touchy-feely. Magicians were coming in and doing little shows to impress them, and they were all caught up in it. They were a family. Aaron Rodgers was going to lead them to the promised land, and they're already falling apart behind Zach Wilson. Then you have Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson going at it with their offensive guy there, yelling at him, saying, "I was open, you son of a bitch. I was open." So you see these things that are happening with these Jets on the sidelines and the problems that are developing here. So to me, I look at this loss to the Patriots. It's a tough loss. Even Joe Namath came out yesterday on a sports talk radio and said they got to dump Zach Wilson. This Jets team is fucked up, and said that the problems are with the GM. The problems are with Robert Saleh as the coach. There are problems with these Jets. And so to me, I'm looking at this situation like, what was so great with Aaron Rodgers coming in, it's clear to me that he was paper over a crack in the dam, and the water is now bursting through that paper because it broke its Achilles heel. So I'm just like, or tore its Achilles heel. So to me, I don't think Aaron Rodgers was going to solve this team or lead them to the Super Bowl, which is what they were talking about. In no way did I think that was possible, because there are too many issues on both sides of the ball for these Jets, and they're not playing cohesively. Losing your star quarterback should not be the excuse for you all to fall the fuck apart all over again. So I just don't trust on the Jets right now. What do you think?
You know, I hope Trevor Siemian can do it. I went and found something that I think perfectly sums up what happened with the Cowboys.
Oh yeah,
No, you said this to me earlier.
I did.
I
don't know if we can get away with the noise on this one, on the sound.
Oh, you should be all right. It's quick enough. Okay.
I didn't want my brother to get fucked around. I mean, what's right is right. They don't give a fuck about.
My only issue with this, and I tweeted this, is that I felt like, they should have had Josh Dobbs' face on one of these guys rather than just the Cardinals fans' faces. But yeah, and poor Dak has to watch them beat up on his Cowboys. And of course, this is from Casino with Pesci and his brother in Casino. So yeah,
God,
good stuff.
Awful. Yeah. Absolutely awful.
Yeah. But yeah, the Jets are messed up. And Haskell's saying, yeah, I get it, Haskell. I read your DM. Don't worry about it. But you were still super fucking passionate about something, and you're not seeing the issues with the Jets, at least from what a lot of people on the outside are seeing with these Jets, is that they seem to be like a dysfunctional group that were just waiting for one moment. And I'm going to tell you this right now. There's no way Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to fuck this team over if they started out like 3-5 or 3-6. Because their defense wasn't playing well, or they were blowing it in certain moments. I'm telling you right now, I mean, there's just feelings around these Jets. As much as I like Saleh as a coach, when I watch Hard Knocks, the results on the field are not there. And so you have to ask these questions about this guy, even though I like this guy and these Jets, man. Do you think it's a dysfunctional situation?
Yeah, I really think it is. I think that they will I think that they will finish out just shy of the playoffs. I think they'll be good enough to make noise, but I don't think they're good enough to get there. Who knows? Maybe Trevor Siemian really is the answer, and maybe I'm completely wrong, and maybe they are the team to beat out of the. I'm sorry, I couldn't even finish that sentence.
God damn. If the Jets win 4 games this year, I'll be surprised.
Whoa, that's disrespectful. Come on.
I'm just telling you the truth.
Nah, bro. They're gonna beat the Broncos. They're probably beating the
Russell
Giants.
Wilson is a better quarterback than anything they got behind center on the Jets. What are you talking about?
It doesn't matter. That defense is better than what Russell Wilson and that Broncos offense is doing. They're gonna beat the Broncos, so that's win number 2. They're gonna beat the Giants. That's win number 3.
You think it would be the Giants?
I think they'll beat the Giants. I think they'll beat the Giants. I think that they can beat both the Chargers and the Raiders. I'll give them those 2. And that might be it. I think the rest of these teams can take them.
First of all, they have KC next, which is going to be it might be 70-20.
KC's probably going to beat the brakes off them.
Yes, it's going to be like 70-20. Then they're at Denver. I guarantee you Denver wins that game. Then Philly's going to whoop up on them. The Giants are going to beat them. The Chargers are going to beat them. The Raiders are going to beat them. Buffalo's going to kill them. Miami might score 80 on them. Then Atlanta. Then Houston. Maybe they get a victory in Atlanta and Houston. Then Miami's going to beat them again. Then my Redskins or my Commanders are going to beat them. Then the Browns, because Deshaun might be full on going by this point, are going to smash them. And maybe they beat the Patriots. That's basically it for me when I'm looking at this Jet schedule with Zach Wilson at the quarterback or Trevor Siemian at quarterback. Because you can have a great defense, but if that defense doesn't love their quarterback, they're not going to play for their quarterback. And it's clear they don't love Zach Wilson. And I don't know if Trevor Siemian has any kind of special juice in there to help win over the defense, but they're not going to play as hard because they're going to be like, you keep throwing fucking interceptions and giving us a short field. Fuck you, and I think that's going to happen at the end of the day.
All I know is the one thing that I am not looking forward to when it comes to football is next week's matchup of the Denver Broncos at the Chicago Bears. That is going to be a terrible fucking
I don't disagree with you.
That's going to be a terrible game.
Oof. That's going to be a boring game for sure. Terrible. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Steelers.
It might. You know what might actually be fun about that game?
49ers. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Seeing how many turnovers you can see happen in that game, and just like every time someone turns the ball over, you take a shot. Oh boy,
that's true. And to wrap up Matt Thomas's question here, Deshaun Watson looked terrible last week against the Steelers, and they lost. The same Steelers team that was able to outlast the Raiders here thanks to injuries. But he looked great against the Titans, and the Titans are no slouches on defense. Mike Vrabel is great, but the Titans might have been overlooking the Browns. So I've got to see more from Deshaun over the next few weeks to see if he's figured it out or if he's lost a step and this was just an anomaly victory, So we will see as it goes along. Let's move on to some college football news here, Winston. Deion Sanders, this is a big news over the weekend. Deion Sanders and Colorado went to Eugene, Oregon to play the University of Oregon. And they got absolutely mollywopped in this game, 42-6. Even Deion said afterwards, we played like hot garbage. Good old-fashioned butt kicking. No excuses here. The Buffaloes, who had been playing really well in the first 3 games, going 3-0, they allowed 522 total yards, 282 passing, 240 rushing, and they failed to gain 200 yards overall in the offense. They were absolutely defeated on both sides. And Travis Hunter did not play, of course, because he's out for a few weeks with the injury. But this became a touchstone because of what had happened here when it was released, what the coach of Oregon said at halftime about how they're playing for wins and the Buffaloes are essentially playing for clicks, going after Deion. And I saw this really cause a lot of drama online with a number of people here. And you saw like Shannon Sharp coming after the coach and Stephen A. Smith coming after the coach. And then you saw other people coming after Deion. And so to me, I'm so confused about this whole situation. And it's become a conversation about race now and about how Deion's for the culture and anybody against Deion is racist. And anybody for Deion is for the culture and they're on the right side of history. And I'm just like, can't we just say that this was an overmatched team? Deion is still getting his feet as a coach in Division 1A at this level. coaching an HBCU college is what it is, but at this level is a whole different ball game. And there are black coaches on other teams. There are black players on other teams. Why is he the only one for the culture? So I have all these thoughts running through my head as I watch people's reactions to this. What are your thoughts on all this? Ask you as a football fan and then also as a black man watching this.
I understand why people were upset about it, and I'll be honest, when I saw the clip, it rubbed me the wrong way, but that's because a week prior, you had another white coach being like, where I'm from, we take off our hats and sunglasses. You've announced it this week.
That's a black coach. The black coach for Colorado State. He's black.
The black coach said that? I thought it was the white coach.
That's Colorado State. That was a black coach.
All right. Well, then I stand corrected. I swore up and down that it was that it was one of the white coaches on Colorado State that said that. I didn't realize that it was
it was Jay Norvell. Jay Norvell.
Then I guess it's because it's just that it's what Deion represents and what he's actively trying to do. And there's never been a situation where you see. I've never gotten an inkling that these coaches are trying to do anything other than, it's funny he mentions the clicks and he's just in it for the wins. Winning is important for sure, but I think what makes Deion different, other than the fact that he went and tried to raise some clout for HBCUs and stuff like that, he has made it very apparent that what's important is trying to genuinely, he feels like Coach Taylor out of like Friday Night Lights. Like he actually cares about these boys. Yeah. I've only ever gotten I haven't seen a lot of college coaches where I'm like, you know what? He actually gives a shit about that kid. Yeah. He's actually going out of his way to do something better. So there's a weird sentiment when what you see out of Deion, yes, he's running his mouth, but nothing excessive. Most of the stuff that he's talking about is, like, if you watch his interviews, he's like, I'm just making up a name. I've known John since he was a kid. I watched all the stuff he went through and whatnot because he came to my camp and he's been that, and now he's playing for me. And I'm the one that's like, hey, come on, your moms need you to whatever. There is a feeling of Deion being bigger than football right now and actually giving a Friday Night Lights, a Remember the Titans, this sentiment that he gives a shit about these boys. Right. I'm not saying that the other coaches don't, but it definitely feels more like they're treating it like an NFL and it's a business transaction. They're not really in it necessarily to raise young men or anything like that. They're just coaching them to win football games.
I think that's a fair point.
At least forward facing. I'm not like I could be completely wrong where behind closed doors, the lessons that they're teaching them is that, but I'm not getting that sentiment out of them. I don't look at Nick Saban and go, man, he raised some really good young men. I just think Nick Saban just wins ball games. That's literally all. When I see Nick Saban, I think Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick don't necessarily give a fuck about anybody on that team. It's like, do your job and then get out. Right. That's what college coaches feel like to me. Deion feels different.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I saw people getting upset at this, and I was like, well, look, he's a college coach, and he's trying to motivate his team. And I saw some former black players who are commentators like Shannon Sharp and other people like going after this coach for what he said, and I'm like, you guys know damn well that you have been in locker rooms where white coaches have said the most insane shit about the other team or the other white coaches or another black coach, and you all didn't say dick. And it's just a different situation because you got to motivate your team to play. So in his mind, this is the angle he chose to play. And he wanted to say, this is a team that's bumped itself up and all this kind of stuff. And by the way, the Oregon black players were dancing at the end, near the end of the game, looking at the score, beating up on Deion and his players. So this idea that this was white against black, I think is a bit disingenuous in my opinion. And then when you see, and of course people are more than welcome to disagree with me, but then they released the video of the Colorado players talking shit about the Oregon players before the game.
Today, we talk with our past.
And they were.
They talk, you don't say. You don't say.
See, he's saying, don't say anything to them. Just play the game. And then here we go. Why y'all so little? We're finna run through y'all's asses. And he's trying to get them to ignore them while they're talking their shit. And they're staring at the players, the Oregon players, laughing at the Oregon players. See, and they're wiping their feet on the O. This is what the Oregon players saw. And
I like to report a crime.
like to
murder to these Different culture.
See, and that's kind of what you see why the Oregon players reacted this way. It was out of disrespect. I don't think this is a racial thing. Now, for some of the white pundits and the white coaches, fuck yes, it's a racial thing. I just don't think in this situation it necessarily was. I think Oregon is getting unfairly vilified.
I agree with you. I didn't, like, again, in my mind, it didn't feel like it was a racial thing, as in he was like, they're out here doing all their shucking and jiving and you're out here to win. Like, that's not that's not how I interpreted it.
Yeah.
Literally what I interpreted it again is that, and I would love to know more about this, about, this Oregon coaching staff and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like that clip actually made things a little bit interesting for me.
Yeah.
But again, you're talking about a dude, it's his first time as a D1 head coach.
Yes.
Already
absolutely.
doing everything that he's done in those first 3 games leading up to this. Yep. Seeing that his son is performing at the level that he's performing, there's just a lot there where it genuinely feels like Deion is trying to do something absolutely special. Not just that, and when you also take into consideration, remember, he completely dismantled what was the previous Colorado team,
right?
And then brought in all these new players. And this team was what? And this team was what? 1-11
last year. 1-11.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a lot going on there, and that's why having that clip come out when it's paired with everything else that Deion's doing, I understand why people were getting up in arms. Right. I don't think it's necessarily justified to get that hot about it, but I understand why people did.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And I think that's fair too. That's why I think there's much more nuance to this than people are trying to paint it in one way, because I agree. I love what Deion is doing. I think it's great that he's come into a situation like this because he was at a head, he didn't want to be a head coach. It was his publicist who convinced him to do this. And he was incredible coaching the I think it was Jackson State with the HBCU conference there and doing what he did there. And look, and some of the other black coaches didn't like what Deion was doing as well. He rubbed them wrong as well. So it's not just like only white coaches having issues with it, because I just said Jay Norvell last week said that about sunglasses and, when I was raised a certain way. And so you see that there is just a division within it. I've heard that many times, right? All skin folk and kin folk. It's like different points of views in the black community about all this. So there's much more nuance, but I love what he's doing here in Colorado. Is drawing attention to the crowd. People are going to want to come play for Colorado now, but he's got to get these victories against these. I mean, next week is USC, or this Saturday is USC. If he lays another egg, then there's going to start to be questions about his ability to coach these people. And people are like, oh, this team went 1-11 last year. Sure it did, but he brought in 50 new players, his players. And so you argue that he's got to be able to coach up his players to play as well so they can, have these games be a little bit close. We'll see how this adjusts. We'll see how he coaches going forward. But I do agree with you. It's only the first year. You got to give him much more license in the next few years to see if he can turn this program really around. Because a lot of people were writing articles at Yahoo Sports that he'll be coaching in the NFL as a head coach next year. I'm like, what the fuck are you all talking about? Like, he's got to learn the levels of coaching.
The hype machine.
Yeah, that's true.
The hype machine, man. It is what it is. The Cowboys were the best team in the NFL as of 48 hours ago.
You're right. Let's do one more story. I know we got to go, Winston. This is kind of a sad story, and I want to hear what your thoughts on this. Chandler Jones, who of course played for the Patriots, now for the Raiders here, he wrote in a social media post on Monday that he was taken to a hospital, quote, against my will, by the Las Vegas Fire Department and later transferred to a behavioral health facility. He was placed on the non-football illness list last week by the Raiders with what they described was a personal matter. He's been away from the team since Labor Day. And then when he began a series of social media posts aimed at the Raiders and the owner and the GM. And on Monday night, he wrote all this stuff about it and about what he's going through and about patients' rights and all this stuff. And he's saying, I've done nothing wrong. The police said people were concerned about me because of my posts online, and that he was in an ambulance and he was injected with an undisclosed substance. Are we seeing, a lot of people are now starting to speculate, Winston, that this could be a real-time CTE situation with a current player, and especially a name player that people know in Chandler Jones. What do you think about this situation? What do you think is going on here? How does this rub you, man?
I don't know, man. It's kind of hard for me to speak on, just in the sense that I just remembered I mean, we all remember, but like
Yep.
just watching what Antonio Brown's been doing the last few
Yeah.
years, it's very clear that man is not mentally well.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's always been somewhat of an asshole, but everybody keeps pointing back to that Brissett hit.
Yes. Yeah.
He changed after that.
Yeah.
He definitely changed. So like, I don't know enough about Chandler Jones' situation to speak on it.
Okay.
But I would make the argument, this doesn't feel like some sort of like horror movie where they're like, oh,
right.
we'll lock you away in a mental institution forever. Like, I don't feel like a conspiracy's afoot. If this was being said, especially when you got to remember the motto of the Raiders is just win, baby. So if that's the case, knowing what Chandler brings to the table, I got to believe that something is off. And I just that is very troublesome, and that's worrying. I'd be curious to get more information.
Yeah,
but just based off of what I'm reading and what you just said, I don't know. It just sounds sad.
It just sounds sad. Yeah, I agree with you, man. He said, "I'm still confused on what I did wrong. I'm stuck here. I'm very sane. I'm too strong of a person to be mentally broken." And he's in the second year of a contract that he signed, a 3-year contract he signed, where he's paid $51 million. So it's like, what is going on here? And you can't discount, Winston, how the NFL has worked really hard to kind of eliminate CTE from the conversation with a lot of, like, they absolutely go after their television people to not mention CTE, to not talk about it. And maybe this is a part of it. Them, like, the Raiders are putting him in a facility for his own good so he can get healthy. But if they find out you can't, because I don't think you can test for CTE while the person's still alive. But if this becomes a situation, the NFL might be, a little ashamed of this, and how are they going to try to cover up? So there's a lot of moving pieces, a little moving parts to this, and I hope we get some kind of answer. But more than anything else, I hope Chandler Jones, if he's mentally unwell, gets the help he needs. And if he's not, I hope he gets the help he needs to get him out of this facility so he can come back at these Raiders and maybe some lawsuits.
I think the sad thing is I'm still confused on what I did wrong. I'm stuck here. I'm very sane. I'm too strong of a person to be mentally broke. Like, everything about that just feels just icky. Whether it's the Raiders up to some BS or whether Chandler actually being really sick, man. Like both are that just, whenever somebody says I'm confused what I did wrong, there's something about that specifically. And that could be just as simple as like, a child while they're in trouble. If you're in a relationship and all of a sudden it's like, I don't know what happened. Like that touches you in a type of way that makes you uncomfortable. And so I'm just very worried about Chandler Jones. And I hope everything's okay. And if the Raiders are up to some bullshit, then I hope they pay. One or the other, like,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We'll figure it out for sure. All right. Well, there you go. That's our show for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it, madly. We went a little bit over, so we usually try to keep it to an hour and a half. So sorry, but we had a lot to say, obviously, in the first two games. Winston, so much fun hanging out with your brother, talking this stuff. Can't believe that an hour and 45 minutes flew by this fast. Please let people know where they can find you, what you got going on, man.
You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred, man. I've been doing my SVUs. I really don't want to do this one because I'm probably going to have to come to the Cowboys, but it is what it is. So definitely check me out on TikTok, on Instagram as I'm doing those. As one strike is over and the second one is starting to wrap up. Not 100% over, but like 95% over. They still got to ratify everything. And then now SAG is being approached to come back to the table. Please be sure to go over to my YouTube channel. I'll start posting stuff again once we kind of get the all clear. And I have been over doing, we did our first episode of Capes and Cows again over on the Christian Harloff channel. So check that out as well.
Nice. Good to see you back on there, man. And one last thing, Winston, this is from Tyreek Hill. He is saying that when he retires, he wants to be a porn star, and he's very serious. So are we okay with this? Are we okay with Mike, with Tyreek Hill becoming a porn star, getting some yards that way, getting some catches that way?
Well, I hope he's not as fast in the bedroom as he is on the field. Not going to make a lot of money that way.
But he's going to score a lot. All right. Anyway,
would he though? Is that scoring or is that like just a bunch of safeties?
Oh, you're not pulling an Orlovsky in here. You're not stepping out of bounds in here. All right, as for me, at the Rocha says, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. You guys are awesome. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers. Subscribe to the channel, please, and hit that like button. Leave a comment down below, and we'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the football this week, and we'll talk to you next week as we break down week 4 in the NFL here on Game Time. Peace.